Welcome back into another mock draft. We were just days away from the kickoff of the 2023 NFL draft. And I know that I said in the last video that this was going to be the final mock draft video, but we are done with the regular mock draft videos. We looked at all the teams, picks 1 through 31. And now we're going to shift our attention to one of our teams that we looked at in the Sports Guru podcast. Now, most of our analysts on the Sports Guru podcast are Saints fans, so I figured why not give this content today. So let's go ahead and kick this off. We do have 8 overall selections for the New Orleans Saints, so we'll start with pick number 29. Now, the Saints did get this 29th overall pick in the Sean Payton trade to Denver, so we do have a lot of draft capital to work with, especially in the top 4 rounds of the draft. So let's go ahead and kick this off. We're doing this on Mock Draft Database Simulator. So let's go ahead and get this thing kicked off. We're going to be waiting on the clock, just waiting to see who's going to be available for us. We're already seeing Anthony Richardson fall in here. Bijan Robinson is also falling as well. So Bijan Robinson is still on the clock. That would be tempting for the Saints here, especially with some suspension concerns around Alvin Kamara. But I just don't really see Bijan Robinson falling to this far in this period. I think that Bijan Robinson is not only the best running back in the draft, but he's also a best talent. But I just think that there's more needs that need to be assessed. I think that you have Jamal Williams. It would be tough to pass on Bijan Robinson here, but I'm going to go with a guy that I've really been zoned in on the mock draft for the Saints, and that's defensive tackle Calijah Kancey out of Pittsburgh. Defensive tackle is one of the biggest needs for the Saints entering this draft. I know that you got 2 really good guys. You added Kalen Saunders and Nathan Shepard in free agency, but you also lost Shy Tuttle, David Onyemata, and Kentavious Street. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to add another defensive interior piece. And I think that Calijah Kancey fits the mold here for the Saints, and that is a really solid pick there at pick number 29. So now we can, could we start to turn our attention to, receiver position or the tight end position? And the tight ends, you already still have the top tight ends here. You have Dalton Kincaid and Darnell Washington. Receivers, you still have Josh Downs, Cedric Tillman. Edge rushers are still there. You got Keon White. And I think that we're going to, keep our attention on the defensive line here. Now looking at edge rusher, I think we're going to go with Keon White here, edge rusher out of Georgia Tech. I think that is great value here at pick number 40. Keon White has a really good first step off of the line of scrimmage. Now, looking at the edge rusher position, he lost Marcus Davenport. He's now on the Minnesota Vikings, but he really didn't do much for you. Cam Jordan, the Saints were able to restructure his contract in the offseason, but he isn't getting any younger. And on the other side, you have Carl Granderson, and Granderson has shown some strides in the offseason as well. But I think that another key piece to this defensive line, really retool this defensive line. That's what the Saints have been doing all season. I think you do it here with the first 2 picks. You go Calijah Kancey at 29. You go Keon White, the edge rusher out of Georgia Tech. So now in the draft, you can start turning your attention away. I think that pick number 71, we're definitely going to go with offense here. I think that you see Steve Avila is falling. There he goes. And now we can start turning our attention to maybe the wide receiver in the running back positions. You do have Cody Mock there. That would be an interesting pick there. You drafted Trevor Penning last year. You have Cesar Ruiz. That's been your main guy in the interior. And then you have some kind of question marks with Andrew Speed. Wide receivers, this is an easy pick for me. Marvin Mims is a guy. I think that he's definitely undervalued here. I think that Marvin Mims can easily go and, be a top 50 prospect in this NFL draft class. So I think that Marvin Mims has elite speed. Now, the wide receiver position now for the Saints, last year's draft, it was way more of a need than it is this year, but it's still a need. You are bringing Michael Thomas back. You got Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. That was your 2 rookie studs. But you did lose Deontay Hardy. You did lose Marquez Callaway. Traquan Smith is still there, but he's still yet to be worthy of the draft pick. And you're also going to be losing to Jarvis Landry in the free agency. It's looking unlikely that Landry is going to be coming back to the Crescent City. So I think that Marvin Mims is a slam dunk pick here this late in the draft. I think that is another tremendous value at pick number 71. So Cansey, White, and Mims are our top 3 picks. And now we go on now to our 4th overall pick in the NFL draft, and that is in the 4th round and pick number 115. And we could definitely be looking at getting a running back there. I wanted Tyjae Spears out of Tulane. I think that would be a tremendous value for the Saints as well. So I think that running back, if you're looking at a running back, Tank Bigsby would definitely be an informable running back there at the position. You could go corner, go Garrett Williams as well. Tight ends, you still have some of the top tight ends as well. But I'm going to go with Tank Bigsby, the running back out of Auburn. Like I mentioned at the start of the Saints mock draft, there is some concerns around Alvin Kamara. He is coming off the season that he wasn't wanting to, but there's also, a suspension could be looming, a multi-game suspension with the incident that happened in Las Vegas. The Saints did add Jamal Williams. I think that he is the best running back number 2 in the league. But then after that, the depth really falls off. David Johnson going to do you much. Mark Ingram is in free agency. He's more than likely not coming back. So I think that Tank Bigsby gives you a little something different coming off the bench. He's way different than Alvin Kamara. He's a between the tackles type of runner. So I think that Tank Bigsby here at 115 makes too much sense for the Saints. It would just be shocking if the Saints didn't go running back, after the 5 rounds, if they don't hit Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is one of their top draft prospects. And like I mentioned, I don't see Bijan Robinson falling to number 29 as well. So now we have one of 2 picks here in round number 5. We did go back-to-back offensive picks with Marvin Mims and Tank Bigsby. And now you really fit some of your needs here. Could you go cornerback and go with Ja'Cory Bennett? But I think that we're going to go the linebacker position, address that position, go Noah Sewell, the linebacker out of Oregon. I think that a lot of people don't really like Noah Sewell, but I am one of those people that I think that could fit well here with the Saints. You do have Demario Davis. That's been your lead dog at the linebacker position. Pete Werner has also been a positive. He did go through some injuries in 2022, but he's expected to be healthy and ready to go by the 2023 season. You no longer have Caden Ellis. He was now in the Falcons. So that's going to open up a competition. It's Zach Bonds to lose. But I think if you had Noah Sewell here, I think that could add to the competition. So you need your depth is really lacking at the linebacker position. You were able to get one last year with Appalachian State's DeMarco Jackson, but he hasn't really shown much. He's been on the practice squad. So I think that Noah Sewell would be a great fit there for the New Orleans Saints. So now we move on to our second pick here in round number 5 at pick overall 165. And I think we're going to go with the cornerback here position here. We're not going to have this cornerback drop any farther. We're going to go Ja'Cory Bennett. Your cornerback town is definitely on par with anyone in the league right now. You have Marshawn Lattimore, Alontae Taylor. He's more looked at a hybrid, either could play at the quarterback position at safety. You have Bradley Roby coming back. You also have Paulson Adebo. So I think adding one more piece would definitely be a benefit to this roster. So we're going to go Maryland's Ja'Cory Bennett here with our final pick in round number 5. So now we have 2 more picks here in the draft. It's going to be the 2 picks at 227 and then also 257 as well. And that's going to conclude our 8 overall selections here in the Saints mock draft. So as you can see there, the top 4 needs have been addressed, and we've also addressed the edge need and linebacker. I think that a lot of people are blowing edge need. I think that the edge need is as important as the defensive line need and also the wide receiver need as well. So now we're on the clock here at pick number 227. Raheem Jarrett, if they waited that far, I think that would be an overall great pick as well. Tight end, I'm not really liking these tight ends anymore. I think we've already passed on the good ones. Pick 40, we could have gone with Dalton Kincaid there. Safeties, we definitely could go here. But I think that we're going to go with a flyer here at offensive tackle. Ryan Hayes, offensive tackle out of Michigan. You do already have an offensive tackle. Last year you picked one, Trevor Penning. James Hurst could play well, but I think, it's always a benefit as well, adding another key piece to the offensive line. And now we're going to end the draft here at 257. Quarterbacks, don't really see anybody. No really flyers as well. I think the earliest the Saints could touch a quarterback is 40. If they go Hendon Hooker, that could be a guy that they can look at. But I think that they end the draft here, go for safety. They're going to go Kavion Merriweather. You got two safeties in your last year's offseason class. You brought in Tyrann Mathieu. He had a slow start to the season, but he was able to finish off strong. And Marcus May dealt with injuries as well. So also, adding another key guy as well. So that is the Saints mock draft. As you can see, we'll just go to the top 5 picks here. So Kalijah Kancey at 29. Keon White, we picked at 40. Marvin Mims, the wide receiver out of Oklahoma, was at 71. 115, we went with Tank Bigsby, running back out of Auburn. And then to finish off the top 5 picks, 146, we went with Noah Sewell, the linebacker out of Oregon. So that's going to do it for the Saints 7-round mock draft. And that's going to be it for now for our overall draft coverage as well. We're going to be recording our Sports Scramble podcast tonight, so we'll have more draft coverage leading up to the NFL draft on April 27th.